order of events. Indigenous languages, when they're telling a story, and if you analyse it, you'll find that they tell a story in the order in which it happens. None of this changing things around to make it sort of grammatically interesting or anything.
Poetic.
Or poetic, no. They tell things always in the order in which they happened. Everything has to be in order. And there I've got up, beware of because. What happened first? He didn't go to school because he was sick. What happened first?
The sick.
So you are saying what happened first, you're saying that last. That is a huge problem with because. And sometimes when we've done translation and they've got a word that they use for because, and when they're thinking of translating or interpreting, when they're thinking of doing it, they just say, oh, because, so they'll put that word in. But when we did a community check to see whether people could understand what was there, people faltered all the time. They kept faltering. And it turned out that because puts things out of order.
So how do they use?
So, well, you tell me how you could reword that.
He was sick, so he didn't go to school.
Yeah. So just reword it. Put a so in there. Or you could say he was sick, he didn't go to school, which is the most common way. And then the juxtaposition of those two things is, to them, they say, well, it's common sense. It's a logical. But they do have a word for so, if you wanted to. So you could say he was sick, he didn't go to school. Okay, he went swimming. We went swimming after we had lunch. What happened first?
Then we went swimming.
Yeah. See, you're English speakers and you know that we had lunch first because it says we went swimming after we had lunch. Now, most Yolngu that I know think after and afterwards are the same word. So when they read it, they think we went swimming and afterwards we had lunch. But they're not the same word. It's something that's very, very, very difficult. So if you've got something with a before or an after in it, change it around until you've got whatever happened first, you've got it first. So you've got, we had lunch and then we went swimming. They've got a word for and then that they use a lot in their discourses. And it's good. So use it if you can. What happened first here? Before we had lunch, we went swimming. What happened first in that one?
Swimming.
Yeah. Okay, so you've got to swap that round. How would you say it?
We went swimming and then we had lunch.
Yep. Like that's the order you're supposed to do it in, isn't it? So, okay. So just change it around. I just want those to be little alerts so that when you're writing and you see a because, you think, this is going to make things out of order. Of course, in English, we could put the because first and say, because he was sick, he didn't go to school. But not many people talk that way these days. You'll see it written at times, but it's not a spoken language thing. And so whenever you see a because or a before or an after, just let the alarm bells ring and change it around until you've got them in the right order. When someone shines a light into our eyes, our pupils should contract or become small quickly. If our pupils become small slowly, when a doctor shines a light into our eyes, it may mean that when something hit our head hard, we got a brain injury. Here are the events of the story so far. We've got this fact that we wrote in, and then these are the events. Our pupil becomes small slowly, a doctor shines a light into our eyes, something hit our head hard, we got a brain injury. What happened first?
Well, hitting your head.
Okay, something hit our head hard. That's the first thing that happened. Second?
Brain injury.
Yep. Third?
Light.
Right. Fourth?
Number 1.
Can you see the big problem your angel had? We started with the fourth event, we started with it out of 4 events. And really, it's a big thing. We really need to tell our stories or write our discourses in the order in which they happen. So that would have been one of the major things. Like, she was grappling with everything new, and then suddenly she comes up with this thing where the fourth event is put first, and we've got everything totally out of order, and that just is too much. So here are the events in order. You said them correctly, but notice the order. Yes, I've got them in the right order. What happened first is now first. You just have a look through and you find out what are the events in the story, what have you done, what's happened, and what happened first, what happened second, what happens third, what should happen if you're giving an instruction, what should happen first, what should happen second, what should happen third, and have that in your mind and write it. Rearrange your text accordingly.